Hey guys, Zeus here. Here is a Season 9 Galio mid guide, currently destroying games in Korea Challenger games. Use this cheat sheet if you want to try this out ASAP. After massive Q buffs and ult nerfs, Galio has potential to burst squishies and chunk enemies with Q poke. I've made a guide already on these changes, but Luden's was the major purchase in that video. In this guide, we're going over why one of the best Galios in the world takes Protobell, and I'm going to show you how you can replicate their gameplay and hopefully achieve similar results at whatever level you're at. Luden's is still a great purchase, especially if you need the mana and are going for more of a poke playstyle. I'll leave a link to that video in the description below. The main early strat is to farm safely, using Q and your auto passive to shove waves. It may take a few tries to clear efficiently without missing too many minions. Being a melee champ, Galio risks being out of position mid and therefore ganked early on. Shove lane, ward important areas where junglers are likely to come from, and if your jungler is looking to evade, then this is perfect. Another strat is to safely let the wave push into your tower, using your Q and empowered auto to farm under the tower. Use this if you're under pressure, because either the enemy jungler is applying a lot of pressure and your jungler can't do much early on. The main priority is staying safe until you get a Protobell and you're level 6. Of course, you can always go for plays before that. Galio has impressive burst early on. An efficient combo is max taunt from your W, empowered auto, E, Q, and aftershock proc can probably chunk 50 to 70% HP off most squishy mids, with a few autos and ignite to finish them off. Try to poke them down slowly with Q first, if the wave management is balanced and you don't need Q to push. Once you have Protobell, you'll have enough AP that you can push most waves with one Q for the range creeps and another Q for the melee creeps with an empowered plus normal autos to last hit them. Having river priority is important, so buy control wards and use any other of your wards to make sure there's enough vision of where you are positioned and the enemy jungler is. I would recommend warding a little bit aggressive just because you're going to roam in those areas and therefore you really want to have the upper hand against the enemy jungler as well as your laner. Galio is great for 2v2 skirmishes, by the way. He has plenty of damage, tankiness and CC, so force fights with your jungler in most situations. Once you've pushed waves, threaten to gank either top or bot with your ult. Regular ganks are fine too. You can just walk down bot, especially when your team can't exactly be positioned on top of the enemies for an optimal ult. Mid to late, you can look for splits against a lot of enemy team comps. Galio pushes fast and has decent escape, especially if you have an ally you can ult to for safety. You should still be in a lane closest to your team, so you can ult in any time they engage. A quick tip, sometimes you can simply just appear off the map behind or close to your team to threaten an ult. This will force the enemy team to back off your team, otherwise they risk a potential Galio ult coming in if they hard engage. He has great objective control. If enemy team is cocky enough to dive you, taunting them should be the right play. If they choose to go for a dragon or baron, don't be afraid to W and flash in for multiple taunted enemies and follow up with your AoE damage. Be aware that if you can't one-shot enemies, you will need your team to back you up after your combo. So don't 1v1 champs that out-damage you after your initial burst combo. Let's quickly go over the build, since we pretty much have all the strategy covered. Aftershock synergizes well with Galio's playstyle. You can proc this with either W or E, and at this point you'll be close enough to get the aftershock damage off. This plays a vital part in burst. As mentioned already, an optimal combo plus the damage from this rune will chunk enemies to 50 to 70% of their health, especially most squishies. Shield Bash, a perfect rune for extra damage. Galio gains a shield from his W passive, and this rune helps you gain some extra damage when you auto. On top of your main passive, your autos will hit like a truck. Bone Plating, great to withstand damage once you go in. Since you aren't prioritizing going tanky with items, this rune plus Aftershock will help make up for it, helping you tank the initial damage from enemies once you engage. Overgrowth, any extra HP will help with tankiness, plus it will give you extra damage for Aftershock. Absolute Focus, Galio's playstyle involves getting most of his damage in a short burst, so you'll likely make use of this rune pretty well. Try to stay above 70% so you get the extra damage for poke and push waves in lane. Gathering Storm for the extra AP. Since we're following the #1 Galio in Korea for this is the usual runes they pick, but Transcendence, Mana Flow Band and Nullifying Orb are great choices too. Start with Dark Seal plus Refillable for this specific build, probably one of the most cost efficient items to start off with. Protobell is the first major buy. One of the cheaper first items, once finished, Galio has the potential to one-shot squishies. A quick tip, you can slightly cancel the animation of Q by using the Proto Belt active right after your Q, increasing your chances to catch an enemy. Sork boots for the second item. Magic Pen plus movement speed, perfect for Galio at this stage of the game. Mercury Treads and Ninja Tab Eyes are perfect for certain situations, especially if the enemy is building MR or armor respectively. Morello is a second great buy at the moment, one of the best items I think at this stage of the meta. It's cost effective, giving Galio everything he needs. Remember that Morello plus Protobelt will increase your aftershock damage with the added HP these items have, making use of every single stat perfectly. After Proto, Sorks and Morello there are a few different options. Galio's playstyle involves getting pretty deep in fights, so Zhonya's is great to survive and stall after you either ult in or simply engage with other abilities. Galio is pretty good at making picks with W plus flash. You can E to close even more distance. Once you've taunted at least one enemy, if you've gone in by yourself, you'll usually find yourself surrounded by more than just one enemy, so just press Zhonya's and let your team follow up. Deathcap is another option, mainly if you're fed and want to prioritize damage after Morello, but most games you want Zhonya's before this. Finish off with Void, but if MR isn't a problem, you can try whatever is most effective for your situation. You could even consider buying some tanky items. Of course, Mage Eyes is always an option if you find yourself picking up kills. Even if you are snowballing early, try to finish your Protobelt and Sorks before purchasing Mage Eyes. As for combos, his main optimal combo is a max taunt W, empowered auto from your passive, which will proc shield bash, and remember that your auto has a slightly longer range from your passive. A bit more advanced dodging, you can use your E, specifically the short backwards motion at the beginning of the movement to dodge abilities, but this takes a little bit of practice. Remember, if you do prefer a Luden's build, check my other guide for Galio below. I really enjoy this playstyle, revolving more around teamwork and playmaking, but still having that potential to one-shot certain champs. It's really satisfying hitting those 2 to 3 champion taunts and watching your team bulldoze them over, as well as going for those hero plays, saving your teammates with your ultimate. Let me know how it goes and ask any questions in the comment section below. I'll see you guys in the next video.